Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Shaw TV, to tonight's Chamber on Tap with our guests from Prairie Sun Breweries. Great show, great story, great beer. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Heather and Cameron from Prairie Sun Breweries. Welcome them. When did you guys officially start?
Yeah, pass that back.
Sold our first beer last year on 28th of August.
28th of August.
So that's our beer anniversary that we go by. So.
But when did the idea start?
The idea started like 2 years before that date that we sold beer. So like we had the idea, and we had like a couple business ideas for about a year, and then in the January before the August, so I can't remember what year that is, but so we both went full time, business plan, finding financing, figuring out like what kind of beer we're gonna brew, really nailing down all the, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, and that was like a 6 months process between when we went, okay, 2 people, full time, every day, all day, get this brewery started, to when we had beer to sell.
A couple years ago, you guys have this idea, look, we want to start making brewery, right? August 28th, last year you sell your first beer. You talked a bit about how you had to get the financing and all that set. I've been to your place, pretty cool little facility, and by little, I mean the front part. The back is huge, it's like 9,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
So you have a 9,000 square foot building. You've got a little retail place where people can hang out. You've thrown like a Oktoberfest in the back. You guys have done it right. How do you get the financing for this?
Here, you talk.
All right.
She's the brains.
Well, it was a lot of up and down, I'd say, for the first few months of trying to get financing. We were very optimistic walking into banks with our business plan and all of our ideas, and we got a lot of no's, so quite a blow, right? But women entrepreneurs actually helped us out a lot, so thank you to them. But also family and friends came through, and a couple $1,000s here and there really added up.
Yep.
So also refinancing or mortgaging the house and that kind of stuff. So we have everything tied up in the business, which is really exciting. So we're gonna work really hard. You know it. Yeah. So it took some time, but we made it happen actually pretty fast. We got everything done in about 6 months. So.
See, and that's kind of the cool part of this story for me is we've interviewed lots of entrepreneurs. I rarely get to interview them this early in the business stage. Usually they're older, and they bring the Grant Cooks of the world in the room with them, and they talk about their paychecks, and they high-five each other, and then they leave. I suspect this early in the business, everything you guys have is going into the business, correct?
Yeah, it's actually, that's a lot of fun though, because every month we're like, hey, new project, okay, we have $3,000. What are we gonna do with that $3,000? Well, we're not paying ourselves. Let's add bathrooms. So last month we added bathrooms, so which is convenient for customers.
For a beer place, yeah.
So, but by adding bathrooms, we are allowed to serve pints now. So that helps a lot. So the margins on selling pints, of course, is more than selling the growlers, the off sale. So by doing that, we're furthering ourselves into our goals, and yeah, and what's next? Our kitchen. So
Kitchen, super exciting.
So every month we just put a little bit back into the business, and
Sweet. Yeah. So I think we've talked a little bit, so I don't want to skip so much that people aren't hearing the story. So right now you're growing the business, you're doing well, you're keeping afloat, you're able to kind of look at new ideas, expand, right? So where do you guys see this going in the next couple of years?
Well, more beer. More beer to be made. It's exciting time to be in the beer industry in Saskatchewan. The government is right now looking. They've got like a website up. Anyone can log on there, put your ideas in. What do you want? Liquor sales, selection, anything liquor related. They're taking input right now, so it's exciting to be we're up and running. We kind of know what we want, so like it's an exciting time. The government's like willing to work with craft industry, like not just beer. There's like little wineries that want to start up. Like take LB Distillers, they're awesome. Like we want more of that in the province. We want more little breweries, everything. So it's a really exciting time, and I just see like more beer, like as long as you're making a beer that tastes good and like, you know, like it's like consistent and people can rely on you, I think you could make a solid little business about making some good beer. So
Well,
I'm excited.
I know
for the
this.
future.
Saskatchewan has the highest alcohol consumption per capita in North America. That I know. That's a fact.
We should have taken that to the bank. They would have
Yeah,
given
you
us
should have.
a-
Right. That should have been your
a loan
cover.
for sure.
That should have been and a beer ring on it, so people knew that this came from somewhere. So, how many? What do you guys call yourselves? So there's like you said, LB Distilleries. Do you call yourselves a craft beer, a microbrewery? How is it defined?
They're both. We're both, I guess. So.
Yeah, you can go like, we're like a microbrewery based on, that's like the volume of beer you make every year. So like we're micro, there'd be like Great Western, they'd be like regional size, like they service the whole region and they make like a lot of beer. And then there's like macro, which would be like your big like Coors and Molsons and those guys, and they like service like a whole continent of beer. So like, and then like we're micro, we make a lot of beer, and then yeah, there's even smaller. There's some business models where you're like a nano brewery and you might only make like a couple 100 liters of beer a week. It's more of like a hobby business, you know, part-time or whatever, but you'd make some like really weird, fun beers and just like sell them at like 2 or 3 pubs. Yeah. And then like craft is anything where we're a craft brewery as well. We're just doing, you know, we're really focusing on the flavors of the beer. We don't want to sacrifice flavor or anything for like, we're going after really defined tastes. So it's like shifting, instead of just like mass marketing and, you know, like here's one flavor of beer and I'm just going to try to sell it to everyone. Yeah, the craft is more like, the craft beer industry is more like, here's a really cool, interesting flavor of beer and I'm going to sell it to as many as people that like it, and I'll just be happy with that. Yeah. And so it's kind of like a different focus on how to sell the beer and how, like, what defines your success, I guess.
So Cam, you're the master brewer, right?
Yeah, brewmaster.
Master brewer sounds like cool. Master brewer. Brewmaster. So, Heather, what's your role in the business?
Yeah, that's it. I am everything else. I do the sales some days, although I'm not allowed to do sales anymore because we're pretty much tapped out at capacity right now.
That's awesome.
So that is exciting. Yeah, we're ordering more tanks. But I also do the books. I run the store some days. I do the samplings. I sweep the floor.
Hey,
Do everything.
then everything. That's the cool part about entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, I love it. I get bored, I think.
That's fair.
Otherwise.
And you guys are a couple, and that kind of amazes me as well, because I come home after being away for 9 hours, and my wife is, I'm not sure I'm ready for you to be home yet. You guys have to work all day together. He's in the back making beer. Are you up in the front drinking it? Is that how this works?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah?
That's how it works.
So, why don't we tell them, so everybody, I'm assuming people in Shaw TV land and people here, you probably all haven't been there. It's, what street is it on? Ontario?
Quebec.
Quebec. It's one of the provinces. So it's on Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we know where Arby's is. Turn on Arby's.
Yeah, that Arby's on Circle Drive North.
Circle Drive North.
Yeah.
And they're right there, Prairie Sun Breweries. People can come in, can they take samples and buy a pint? I guess you got bathrooms now, so you can buy bathrooms,
You
buy a
can,
pint.
yeah, you can do a pint. Yeah, we're open 11 to 7. So kind of our model is we don't want to be a bar or a full restaurant. We don't want to be there till 2 a.m. every night. We want people to come in, sample the beers before they take them off sale, or come in after work for a pint. It's a good relaxing space. And then we throw a few events every year just for fun. So, yeah.
So, you make beer, you have this business plan. Did you make beer like in your basement before? Basement?
We did a little bit of on the stovetop brewing to like really figure out. I had a lot of time, like 2 years, to figure out, you know, all right, we're gonna have some big tanks. What are we gonna do with them? So we did like a lot of our recipes we're brewing now, like our Crazy Farmer flagship. I probably brewed that in every combination imaginable to like try to figure out what was the exact best flavor for the beer. But it ended up being the first homebrew recipe that we ever did and wrote up. It was just like, I don't know, a good omen, I guess. I believe in that kind of stuff. and that's the recipe we're still using today. I couldn't beat it. It's like the first one that we made up. That was just
Awesome.
the best. And
It was like me with my wedding dress. The first one was it. I tried a few others. This TV is probably laughing hysterically. I bet you they're loving that joke. This room is like crickets today. We need some Prairie Sun beer in here, right? Yeah, we do. So you make beer. Obviously, it's a hobby. You like making beer. You like drinking it. Then you're thinking, hey, what we should do is go in a lot of debt and start doing this, right?
Yeah.
Is that exactly how it happened, or was it? Who was the driver of this?
I've been brewing beer as a brewer. I learned in an apprenticeship fashion how to brew beer. So I've been brewing beer professionally as my job for about 7 years now. And for my first day on work, the first thought I had was I should own my own brewery someday. But it wasn't until I met Heather that I thought that could become like an actual thing. You know, because she brings the business, and she has a lot of drive, and she just makes me better at what I do. And that's it's true though.
I say incredible comedy, and they just are like, what? And you say, you know, I'm going to say something nice. My wife's the greatest woman I've ever met too. Cam, jerk.
Sorry.
My wife's awesome. She doesn't let me make beer, but yeah.
Yeah. So as the team, I don't think either of us would own a brewery singularly, but as a team, it's like I say she's the brains and I'm the brew. Like I don't know how to make beer, but I think I'd end up giving it all away for way too cheap, and I wouldn't have any money at the end of the day. So with Heather, she knows how to make sure that it's an actual functioning business, and the two together works really well.
Well, there's a lot of cool aspects to this story. I mean, your age is cool. The fact that there's not, I don't mean your age is cool. That sounds weird. I mean the fact that you're young entrepreneurs, that's cool. Especially in a young, vibrant province, right? Like 15 years ago, no one 20 years in their early 20s, mid 20s is thinking, hey, I should rent 9,000 square feet. Didn't happen. So
It's a good province.
you got this age thing going for you, which is cool. You also you immigrated here from the States.
Yep.
It's weird to say it like that because you
I'm
probably
an
just
immigrant.
you probably just drove up. Immigration implies so much more. She drove across the border and stayed. So
It's all legal.
yeah, exactly. You're good. So you meet each other. You have this cool idea. Now you're making beers. You're a year in. What do you like? What's the day-to-day stuff? Are you just testing recipes now because you've got your business plan? You kind of know what you want to do. You want to sell beer. You want to make beer. But how does that work? Is it that you know that this one beer sells a lot, so you're going to make a lot of that, or you just keep trying different stuff because that's Prairie Sun? You get a different brew every once in a while.
So the first year we decided to launch a new beer every month as a seasonal beer. Cool. We'd test it out. We'd see how people reacted to it. People love what's new, so of course they always sold really fast. So it's really hard to be, I guess, have an objectional opinion on it. But Toffee Porter was one of the ones that every single person that tried it liked it. Yeah. It didn't matter if you're a craft beer person or if you liked a lager, which was really crazy because it's a dark beer. It's our porter. It's chocolate and caramel, but it's 4% and it's really smooth, right? And so people, women especially, which I love that. Women would come up to our expos or wherever we're trying to push the beer, and they'd be like, oh no, I don't drink beer. And I'm like, just try the Toffee Porter. And they'd be like, whoa. And that was just the best reaction to see. So every month this past year we did a seasonal beer, and so this year I think we're gonna narrow in on a few of the ones that did the best. We have 4 beers that we sell all year round, so those are just ones that we thought would do really well, and they have. So I guess maybe that's why we're doing good, because we can tell what people will like in the craft beer world.
I think part of your success is just that you do a great job. When tried your beers and they were fantastic. That one that you just talked about, I'm not a big.
Dark beer.
I barely drink. What? Now everybody's quiet. That's appropriate. But I tried the one you were just talking about. What? How do you say it in the porter?
Well, it's Toffee 5.
Toffee
that's
5.
what's-
Toffee 5.
Yeah, Toffee
And it was a dark beer, had a nice head on it, but it was super smooth. Like it was a really nice drink. So when you're making these monthly drinks, is that like you have 10 drinks and then be like, let's put some stuff in here and see what happens? Is it like that, or is there a process, or do you have like the kind of idea of a recipe, but then you just start experimenting until you get the mixes perfect?
A little bit. It's, I guess it's our creative outlet, right? So some people are artists and we're brewers. We travel a lot into the States because that's where craft beer is happening big time. So I taste a beer, I'm like, oh my God, Cam, make this, but make it a little bit different, right? And it puts a lot of pressure on him, I know. But he does. He makes the beers that I want him to make, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And every husband in here says, I know what that's about. Yeah, exactly. I got an amen, finally, good Lord. TV land's like, this guy is hilarious. I bet you they're loving him there. They're not TV, Shaw TV. They're wanting me to leave. So we just talked about the 5. You had a number on the name. What does
Right.
that signify?
Toffee 5?
Yeah.
So we did 18 different batches of Toffee 5. We had a little party, some sampling, and everyone got to vote, and Toffee 5 won, hands down. So it was like the perfect combination of that toffee and roasty flavors. So we launched that in December for a Christmas beer, and we made that a few times, but we thought it was a bit too sweet actually if we were going to do it as an all year round beer. So technically it would be called probably Toffee 4 or Toffee 4.5. 4.8, something a little bit. So we pulled it back a bit, but Toffee 5, it just stuck. So
Toffee 5 sounds like a band. They should open for Maroon 5. Boom, TV land. I love you guys. There's an old lady watching. Maroon 5 is the greatest. I love Adam Levine. See, I can always tell my friends are giving me the grimace look, like, Evan, stop talking. But that's why I make the money, ladies. I keep talking. So, seasonal beers, you're keeping it going, right? What's
Yeah,
the plan?
for sure.
Let's actually, where can I get your beer right now in the city? Like, not besides coming to your place. Where can we go and have a Prairie Sun Brew?
Well, actually, I gotta give props to all the bar managers in the city of Saskatoon. They're all pretty awesome. They're willing to give us a shot. They'll be like, all right, I got this one beer that's not selling very well. I'll put your beer on tap for a while, and if I sell more than the one I had on, all right, you're on then. They'll give us a shot. So we're doing pretty good. I kind of think of the Saskatoon almost as like the Monopoly map, I'm like, okay, like this is where all the bars are, and I kind of like a little Monopoly map in my head, and got like slowly, okay, we got that bar, we're on tap, so we're doing pretty good. We all got almost every spot on Second Ave has at least one Prairie Sun Brew available, and a couple spots on Broadway, and a little thing everywhere. So.
And is that kind of something you guys have noticed as entrepreneurs in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan? The fact that it is such a community that's open to other people and new ideas. It's not this rigid, you have to be a big corporate America to come in before they even pay attention to you?
I guess a little bit of both, just because people love their pill here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and people love their lagers, because craft beer, it's not a thing in Saskatchewan yet. It really isn't. If you go into any of the states or into Alberta and BC, every bar, even if it's the little Chinese restaurant down the street, it has a craft beer on tap or craft beer in bottles, which is amazing. So we're almost there, I think. But yeah, they've been open arms, I guess. A lot of the restaurants. Congress put 3 of our beers on tap when we first opened.
That's awesome.
Winston's, Finn McCool's has been great actually, and same with the Cactus Club just put us on, and a lot of the places, yeah, they've been great and supportive, and they let us come in and do samplings, and yeah, no, we wouldn't want to open a brewery anywhere else actually. Saskatoon's pretty awesome.
See, you can tell that you're the sales and he's the master brewer. He says, yeah, we got like a geological location where they sell beer. Yeah, 2nd Avenue. All right, that's cool. I'll walk down 2nd Ave. She like gives names.
Yeah. You
You
need
both-
to
you
go
both
to
play a role.
Congress.
Yeah, go to Congress.
You need to go to O'Shea's. Yeah.
There you go. How many craft brewery places are there in Saskatchewan?
Like microbreweries?
Yeah.
Paddockwood was the first. They've been around for about 15 years now. We were the second. We had a little, not publicly, well, okay.
We challenged them.
Yeah, we challenged a district in Regina to see who would open first, but they had some big issues, so we won, I guess.
They didn't accept the actual challenge.
No, but so now there's district. What else is there? There's
Nokomis.
Nokomis. Yeah, there's like 7 now that opened up this year. So it's been a crazy year for craft beer here.
That's awesome.
And more on the horizon, which is amazing. The more craft beer is, the more people know about craft beer.
Yeah, it's
better
great.
for all of us. So
And it's better for consumers if we got some options, right?
definitely, yeah.
You can only open so many skunky beers before you go. There's got to be something better than this. Right? Good Lord, you guys. Man, you should hear them here, Shaw TV. They are loving it. You guys can edit in a laugh track or something, correct? Yeah, they're giving me That's what we need, like an applause sign or something. I need one wherever I go, actually. This is not weird for me that people just look at me like, good Lord, shut up. So, what's the plan going forward? You guys are probably the next couple of years, you're looking to not really expand in the sense of like really spreading yourself, but because you were saying, look, you're already sold out, right? So,
Yep.
is there a plan to eventually start being able to expand expand into the other provinces and?
So we just want to saturate Saskatoon right now and make that a priority. We think that beer is best consumed fresh from the source, so we can monitor the quality of our beer, where it's going, what's happening. There's some fuzz floating. And then Regina. So all of Saskatchewan we do next. I think we're going to get into Regina more this spring. We're already at a few places, but actually have a sales rep down there and get in there. So, and then Alberta. We get emails weekly from Alberta, different restaurants wanting our beer on tap. So that's just, it ties up inventory, right? So every keg costs $200 just for the metal, and then we ship 20 kegs out there, so that's inventory. Just ties up cash flow, that kind of thing. So as soon as we're ready, more kegs, and then 2 or 3 year plan is to buy a canning machine and start canning our beer, and list with SLGA and be available in off sales.
So what is a canning? How does that help your business? Is it better for shipping, storage?
Cans over bottles, yeah. Bottles let in light and skunk your beer. As soon as you bottle a beer and you crown it or you cap it, there's some oxygen picking up through the crown, so you're losing quality there. You ship it, sits on the shelf for 6 months, and there's light hitting it. It's not being kept in a cold area, so loses quality there. So yeah, cans are way better for craft beer because craft beer has no preservatives or chemicals in it.
We have something really local that is doing something that is fresh, is cool, really good beer too. And it's local, so you're supporting somebody locally, but you're also getting something better because you guys are able to focus on the quality, right? Like, you're not just chucking chemicals in there. So you said yesterday you one time chucked some smoke in for one of your beers.
Oh yeah, I was talking about our campfire. It's a smoked red lager, so like it's designed to be the perfect beer for like August when you're like it's getting a little chillier, summertime. You're sitting around the campfire. If it isn't enough that you're covered in smoke on your whole outside of person, you can also drink a smoked beer and smoke the inside of yourself too. Yeah. It's pretty tasty brew.
So how do you pour smoke into beer?
Yeah, so you smoke the malt. So you take the barley grain and like usually they dry it out, but instead of drying it out with like a dry heat, they'll like do it's kind of, I mean, back in the day of beer brewing, so all beer would have been smoked beer because the only way to dry it out would be over a fire. So you just dry it out over fire, and all that smoke absorbs into the husk of the grain, and then on brew day, you mix it all up, and all that smoke flavor gets into the water, and it travels all the way through the beer and gets into your pint glass, and then you get a nice, like it'd be like this nice red beer. They're seasonal at Hudson's here, but with like a big smoke aroma and smoke flavor. It's pretty cool.
It is cool. So you also said this is literally grown in back alleys for your regular beer. So how does that work? You just walk through back alleys and pick people's hops?
Yeah, we're not sneaking around picking people's hops.
Why don't you tell them how you do it? Because maybe people have hops in their backyard. Yeah.
So yeah, check these hops out. Maybe
Look at that thing.
you've got some hops growing you don't even know. So
So what is
that's,
a hop?
So it's a vine, which is it's a plant. It grows up other plants. So
I shouldn't have eaten that.
they're really bitter. The bitterness balances the sweetness of the grain is the idea. But we put the word out. If you bring hops in during hop harvest time to the brewery, you get like a little token, and then when the beer's made, you get some beer for it because you supplied the ingredients, kind of thing. So it's kind of it's like a big community event, and each year it'll be a little bit different because it'll depend on the growing season for the hops and who brings hops in and everything, and it's pretty fun.
I'm glad it tastes better in there. So there's also kind of the fad right now of gluten-free beer. How are you guys? Is that even on your radar? Are you thinking about that? Do you have something that's gluten light? Sorry, I'm gonna cough. This hop was terrible. I swallowed it, and I wish I didn't. That was terrible. Good Lord.
Yeah, hops are good for brewing because they're extremely potently bitter. So if you're, you don't need very much of them to bitter a beer. So like on the like 1,000 grams of hops would do like 1,000 liters of beer on things. So like what he ate is like 4 beers worth of hoppiness all at once. So that's pretty good.
So
yeah,
the gluten stuff, yeah. What do you guys? Is that on your radar, or as a craft beer place, do you really need to specialize in that?
Like for the big brewers, it's probably not on their radar, but for us, like it could be a good little thing. But right now, like we're making very gluten heavy beers, like barley is full of gluten, so it's kind of hard. You almost need like a fully gluten-free facility is kind of the idea. And but we've got a couple little like small recipes we've been working on the small scale that have turned out pretty good and pretty promising. But it's just kind of hard. Like our equipment isn't really designed for gluten-free, so like I'm trying to figure out how I can get like a 55-gallon drum of like honey into my kettle, which is like 9 feet high, the opening. So it's kind of like, all right, it's like a logistic thing. Like on the small scale, I can pour some syrup and mix these gluten-free ingredients and work with it. But on the industrial scale, it's harder. You kind of need some specialized equipment. So I'm not sure. We're like pretty busy with just our regular beer brewing. So I don't know. It's something we want to give people, but
Just
we're still working
put a
on it.
sticker on there that says gluten-free flavored. It's like my wife. This gets her every time. It says it's naturally flavored. That means it tastes like it's naturally flavored, but it's not like they didn't squeeze a lemon. They used a chemical to make it taste like a lemon. That's what naturally flavored means. Good Lord. So just do that, gluten-free flavored, and people will be like, it's gluten-free.
Free flavored. I don't know what gluten-free flavor would taste
I don't
like.
know, probably like that, actually. Gluten-free
Yeah.
flavored. Tastes
Not
like a
very tasty.
snifter of hops. Well, Cam, Heather, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I know, especially in the new business, it's tough to book out an afternoon to come and do this. Appreciate it. It's cool learning about your product. I welcome anybody here to go check it out anytime. What are your hours?
11 to 7, Monday through Saturday right now. But because we're opening the kitchen, I think we're going to extend the hours a bit. So
Cool. You have a website they can check out?
we have a website, we have a Facebook page. We're pretty active in social media, so Twitter. It's all on the cards. I passed out some cards earlier. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I hope nothing but the best for you guys. I hope that in a few years your business is huge. I see it all over the place, and that you don't have to sweat about the $200 keg one day.